Good evening and welcome to ThaiPBS World. Tomorrow, Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha and his cabinet will face the wrath of the opposition. They will be grilled over the incomplete oath of office they took when they were sworn in mid-July. And what is certain is that the session tomorrow will provide the opposition with a rare opportunity to go all out against Prayut, whose coalition government is already on shaky ground because of its slim majority in the House.
ที่นี้เนี่ยไม่ใช่ทหารที่ท่านจะมาพูดมาชี้มาสั่งการที่เขียนนโยบายที่สับสนปนเปและมีแต่น้ำนะครับหาเนื้อไม่ค่อยเจอ
Officially, it is known as a general House debate without a vote. But in practice, the opposition definitely wants to make sure it will be nothing short of a no-confidence debate of sort against Prayut and his young coalition government. At the center of the debate is the question as to why Prayut and his cabinet failed to take a full oath of office as required by the Constitution when he and his government were sworn in on July the 16th. Was it intentional or was it an honest mistake? They omitted the last and, in the view of his critics, crucial sentence of the oath. It was something that initially escaped the attention of the public at large, but almost immediately raised the hue and cry of the opposition politicians, who view it as a serious violation of the Constitution. It remains a mystery to these days why Prayut skipped the last sentence of the oath of office. Opposition MPs with a more sinister view chose to interpret it as a confirmation of Prayut's disdain for his constitutional duties. And it didn't help that Prayut has been evasive when confronted with questions about the issue and even tried to dismiss it as part of the opposition attempts to undermine the political legitimacy of his administration. Prayut confirmed today that he will attend tomorrow's House session, but stopped short of saying whether he will answer all the queries himself or how long he will be in the chamber. House Speaker Chulik Pai has scheduled the session to start at 9:30 a.m. and end at midnight before the House goes into recess the next day.
The House debate will take place only a week after the Constitutional Court refused to rule on the controversy on the ground that the oath-taking is a matter specifically between the monarchy and the executive branch, and it is something beyond the court's jurisdiction.
Supporters of the Prayut government were quick to interpret the ruling as an indirect endorsement of the administration, the same way they interpreted the unprecedented ceremony at the Government House early this month, in which Prayut and his cabinet members received a written message of blessing from His Majesty the King. In short, they believe that both incidents should draw the curtain on the whole thing, meaning the House debate tomorrow is no longer warranted. But in the eyes of many politicians and academics, the Constitutional Court's decision not to deliberate the petition has left the society in the lurch. One big question is, who would the society turn to in the future if similar cases arise? Though the taking of oath of office is constitutionally compulsory when a new government is sworn in before His Majesty the King, the current constitution doesn't spell out any specific penalty for failure to do so. Piyabut Sangkanokun, Secretary General of Future Forward Party and a key driver on the issue, has been maintaining all along that the opposition has no intention of trying to topple the Prayut government with the House debate. He said if Prayut admits that he is in the wrong for the incomplete oath-taking, all he needs to do is to seek a royal audience for another oath-taking. It's not only opposition MPs who insist that Prayut has to address his constitutional flaw, but political observers also want to see the Prime Minister show respect for the checks and balances mechanisms in the democratic system. Jade Thonavanik, a political analyst and a former advisor to the Constitution Drafting Committee, insisted that the country's chief executive must be held accountable. especially when a question of constitutionality is concerned. He said, in failing to recite the oath of office in full, Prayut and his cabinet neglected to fulfill what is constitutionally required of them. Satithorn Thananitichot of King Prachatipok Institute concurred by saying that Prayut needs to answer questions from the floor during the debate to show responsibility for what happened. But the oath-taking controversy is not the only subject on the agenda. The opposition also plans to question Prayut and his government for their failure to name the source of funding for projects it proposed as part of their policy statement as constitutionally required. The opposition is also expected to take aim at some of the appointments in the cabinet. Most outstanding will certainly be Deputy Agriculture Minister Thamarat Phomphao, who is alleged by Australian media to have served jail term as a drug convict. And as Prayut defends himself in the House chamber, the Prime Minister must also be waiting anxiously for a ruling of the Constitutional Court on another petition. The court is set to rule tomorrow afternoon whether Prayut had the status of a state official when he was appointed Prime Minister. A negative ruling against Prayut means his premiership would be null and void. In his first stint as Prime Minister, Prayut also assumed the post of leader of the military junta known as the National Council for Peace and Order. A petition had been filed with the court alleging that Prayut violated the constitution, which bars state officials from holding political offices.
Barring the ruling by the Constitutional Court, the House debate itself is unlikely to inflict any real damage on Prayut and his government. No vote will be cast after the debate. But, of course, Prayut will be closely watched as to how clearly he can answer questions from the floor, and more importantly, how he can control his temperament. And that's all for ThaiPBS World tonight. Thank you for watching.